Hello everyone, on behalf of Rainbow Loom, this is Angelynn, formerly known as TutorialsByA here on YouTube. Today I'll be showing you how to create this Chantilly bracelet. I named this the Chantilly bracelet because it kind of looks like Chantilly lace because of these fun loops here on the ends, and I absolutely love the intricacy of this bracelet. It is also reversible. However, I must say that I do really love this side right here. If you have clear rubber bands, I definitely would use them on this bracelet because it looks so cool with clear bands on the border. This is an advanced level bracelet. We do have a couple looming techniques that are a little bit more difficult within this bracelet. However, I don't think that they're too hard, so if you're an intermediate loomer and you'd like to try a challenge, this is a great bracelet for you. Today I'll be using the Rainbow Loom Bead Blast Kit. This kit comes with 2 Rainbow Loom 2.0s as well as 2 Happy Looms, as you see here, as well as a bunch of different accessories such as loomi-pals, beads, and beadmoji beads. There are also 5,600 rubber bands in this kit, which means you have so many different supplies here to make all the different creations that you can imagine. This bracelet can be made on 1 or 2 looms. Today I'll show you how to make this 1 loom version with an extension. However, you can also make the 2 loom version that has the design going all the way around the bracelet. In addition to 1 or 2 rainbow looms, you'll also need a hook, some rubber bands, and a C or G clip to close off your bracelet. To start, I'm gonna make sure that this arrow at the bottom of my loom here says the number 1, and my pins are in a U-shaped orientation. And now our first layer that we'll start placing on our loom are the clear rubber bands in this bracelet. I absolutely love how the clear bands look here. I think it really shows the different designs that are through the bracelet here. But today I'll use white so that way you can see what I'm doing on my loom a little bit better. So first off, our white layer is just going to be a border around the perimeter of our loom. So I'm going to start at the bottom here and we'll do the left side first. So I'm taking 1 band at a time, going from the bottom center pin up to the left. Then I'll go up 1 on the left, and then we'll continue going up down to this second to last pin on the end of our loom. Now once you've reached the second to last pin here, we have 1 empty pin above. We're going to take our next band and go up to the center pin from the left. So we have 1 pin at the top left with nothing on it, and then we have this left side border. That should look like this. And now we will do the same exact thing on the right side. So starting off at the bottom here, we'll go up to the right from the center pin here. Then we'll go up, and then we'll continue the same way down this right side of our loom now. Now reaching the end of my loom, we're gonna leave this last pin at the top right open, and I'll place my last band going from the right side up to this top center pin. So we have 2 pins here with nothing on them, and then the rest of my loom looks like this. And now we're ready for our next set of bands. I'm gonna go ahead and push my layers down real quick though. Now starting at the bottom of my loom again, we are going to add the bands that are purple and green here. Today I'll use pink and orange. I'm gonna take my first color and I'm gonna stretch it from the bottom left pin to the bottom right pin. So these are our horizontal bands that we're adding. So I'm alternating between pink and now orange. I'm gonna go up to the next pin on the left and stretch it all the way across to the right side. Going up to the next pin. And we'll continue adding these horizontal bands almost to the end of our loom. So I'll meet you back here to show you what the end of our loom is going to look like. Okay, so I'm reaching the end of my loom, and this right here is going to be the last horizontal band that I add. So we won't have any horizontal band going from the top 2 pins across here. So this is where you should stop. And now at this point, this is what my loom looks like. And now we're ready to move on to our next set of bands. Again, I'm going to push down my bands really quickly though, just to make some room. So now we'll start at the bottom of our loom again, and these next bands that we'll add are going to be the pink bands that I have going through the middle here. You can definitely see them better on the other side here. It's this pink row that's going through the middle and the middle row here as well. So for this, I'll be alternating between green, purple, and teal. We're gonna make a V shape starting at the second to last pin here. So we're gonna go up 1 from the middle, and I'll go to the left like this. And then I'll do the same thing on the right side with a V shape. Now with my next color, we'll do the same thing right on top of that or above it, going up to the left, then up to the right. With my next color, go up to the left and up to the right. So we're going to continue this going all the way down our loom. To the right, left, and right. And I'll meet you back here again to show you where I'm stopping at the end of my loom. All right, so the last set of bands I'm gonna add is this set right here. So at this point, this is what my loom looks like. Now I'm going to take my loom and rotate it 180 degrees. Now at the bottom of our loom here, we should have an arrow pointing up that says the number 2, and our pins are in an upside down U-shaped orientation. Using the end of my hook, I'm going to add a cap band to the bottom center pin of my loom. So we'll do this by simply wrapping one rubber band around the end of this hook once, twist, and twice. So we have a doubled over rubber band here. I'll place it onto the bottom center pin and slide this down, and there's our cap band. If you don't have this hook, you can also add this by hand by just taking the one single rubber band, wrapping it around that bottom center pin once, twist, and twice for a doubled over band on the bottom center pin. Now I'm gonna go through and push my bands down, especially on this center row here. Go ahead and grab your hook, and now we're ready to start looming. So the first bands that will loom are the horizontal bands here. We're gonna kind of move them into a different position. So my first band here is pink. Remember, we did not place a horizontal band over here. So I'm going to the next one, or the next set of pins above, and I have this pink one here. I'm going to use my hook to grab the 2 pink layers that are here. And notice how I'm going in to grab them. I have a little opening here that I'm going to reach in, and I'm not going inside of any of these bands here to grab them. So just reaching from here, we are simply going to stretch these over this pin that is just below them, like that. So now I'm going up to the orange one, grabbing the 2 layers, and I'm just going to stretch them over that pin below. Up to the next one, grabbing these 2 layers of the horizontal band, pulling them over that pin that's just below. Same thing again, and again, and we'll continue doing this all the way down our loom. Make sure you're not accidentally grabbing any other rubber bands, so I'm just gonna only grab the 2 orange here, so like I don't want to accidentally grab a green in there. Just the 2 orange layers, and our last one will be all the way at the top of our loom here. I have pink. I'll grab these here and stretch it over this middle pin just below. So at this point, this is what my loom looks like now. And now we're ready to start looming what were our V-shaped bands, but now they're kind of pointing up instead. So I'll still refer to these as our V-shaped bands, even though they're not quite V-shaped anymore since we rotated our loom earlier. So for this step, I'm going to reach inside of this pin and use the back of my hook to push these 2 layers of our horizontal band out of the way. And then I'm going to grab that next rubber band, which is my V-shaped band that's purple from the left here. I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to rotate my hook so that way this band doesn't twist at all. So you see it doesn't twist, and I'll place it on this pin that's just above. Make sure you have that horizontal band that maintains its position right there, like that. What you don't want to do is pick this up off of this middle pin and flip it over so that way you have a twist. You want to make sure that you don't have a twist there. So we're going to pick it up off of this pin and just move it over so that way it maintains its shape, like this. So now for our next one, I'm going to go inside this middle pin again and use the back of my hook to push this horizontal band out of the way, the 2 pink layers here. I'll grab the purple layer that's on this middle pin. I'm going to use my finger to hold this horizontal band down. Pulling this off of the pin, I'm going to make sure that I move my hook to where this rubber band doesn't twist. So if I were to just loom it forward, it would have a twist in it, like that. but instead I'm gonna rotate my hook to where it doesn't have a twist anymore. So it looks like that. As long as you end up with a product that looks like this, it doesn't quite matter how you loom it if you're twisting it one way or another. Just make sure you don't have a twist in those bands. So we're gonna continue that with each of the V-shaped bands down our loom. So now I'm gonna go inside of this pin and I'm gonna go in here, push those 2 horizontal layers back with the back of my hook, which are orange in my case. Then I'm gonna grab my green band that's coming from the left, pull it off of the middle pin, and then I'm gonna loom it up this top middle pin without twisting it. And with how the bands are positioned now, you can't really tell if you twisted the band or not. I personally don't think it'll be detrimental to the overall look of your finished bracelet if you do accidentally twist anything, so don't worry too much about that. So going in again, we'll grab the right side band. And just to make sure I don't twist it, I'm gonna rotate my hook, place it on the top thing. If the twisting is confusing you, just go ahead and twist the rubber band, because again, I don't think it'll be detrimental to the overall look of your bracelet, but it might have some influence, so I just always don't twist the band. Moving on to my next V-shaped band here, I'm gonna go inside again, grab the left side rubber band, pull it off of that pin, and then place it onto the top center pin there. Then going in again, pulling this off of the pin, placing this onto the top center pin as well. Now going in for my next V shape, I'm gonna go in here, push back the horizontal band, move this up, and same on the right side. Like that. So go ahead and continue this process all the way down your loom, and I'll meet you back here to show you what our next looming step will be. All right, so I'm reaching the end of my loom, and this right here is going to be the last rubber band that I pull off, or last set of rubber bands, I guess, that I loom. So at this point, this is what your loom should look like. And now we'll loom our last set of bands, which are our border bands. If you created the Trailblazer bracelet that I posted a tutorial for a while ago, this is a similar looming step to the border of that bracelet. So I'm gonna start by doing the left side first, and then I'll come back and do the right side. First, going inside the bottom center pin here, we have 2 layers at the top that are our cap band. Pushing those back, I'm gonna grab the next layer, and this will go to the left, like this. Now we'll do a flipping over step. So if I turn my loom to the side here, you can see that we have 1, 2, 3 white layers, and I also have a purple layer in the mix. We wanna pay attention to the second white layer that's right here. I'm grabbing this with my hook from the outside of the pin here, like this, and I'm not going inside the pin or inside of any rubber bands. I'm just gonna go out or from the outside, grab this rubber band, and I'm going to flip it over the pin by moving it inside like this. So you should have a rubber band like that. And for the entire border, we will go in between looming the band upwards and then flipping it over. So going inside this pin now, I'll grab my next rubber band for the border and loom it upwards. Turning my loom to the side, you can see we still have 1, 2, 3 layers of white, which is my border color. I'm gonna grab the second layer right here. I'm grabbing it from the outside, just to clarify again, and you'll flip it over that pin like that. Next, we'll go up again, and then I'll grab the second white layer and flip it over that pin. Going up again, grab the second white layer and flip it over that pin. So go ahead and continue doing this down your loom, and I'll meet you back towards the end to show you how I'm finishing this left side border. Now I'm reaching the end. I'm gonna flip over this band here. And then the last band I'll loom is this one that goes diagonally up to the center, and I will not flip this one over. So I'm just gonna loom it like normal up to there. And now we have completed our left side of our Chantilly bracelet. Now we'll go on to do the right side border, and we'll do it the exact same way, except we will flip our band from this right side to the inside this way instead of flipping back outwards in the same direction. So our first band will be this one that goes, whoops, to the right. Now I'm gonna reach from the right side to grab this third layer here, or the second layer, pardon me, the second layer here, and flip this over the pin. Going in again through this pin, loom the next border band up, then I'll grab the second layer of white, and remember again, I'm reaching from the outside just to grab this second layer, and we'll flip it over. Back down into the pin, loom up, second layer, flip over, and go ahead and continue this down your loom again, and I will meet you back here to show you what I'm doing towards the end. So I'm reaching the end here. This is the last band that I will be flipping the second layer of white over. And then on this very last border band on the right, I'm just gonna loom it up with no flipping. So at this point, this is what my loom looks like. Our last step before we remove this from the loom is to add one more single chain link to the very end, just to make sure that we have all of our bands held in place. So I'm gonna go to this very top pin of my loom here, and this is the last pin that we loomed all of our bands up to. I'm gonna take my hook and insert it through all of the layers that are in this pin, or on this pin. So I'm gonna go in through this hole here, and make sure that when you move your hook around here, that you have all those layers on your hook. Now taking a single rubber band, I'm going to grab this with my hook, like this, and I'm going to kind of twist my hook a little so that way my hook doesn't catch any of the bands that are on this pin here, and I will pull this one rubber band that I've held on my hook through all those layers. Now I'll grab this left side here that I have with my fingers and put it on the hook like that. So now we have a single chain link here that is holding all of those layers on this top pin. I'm gonna move these up my hook just so that way it's held onto a little bit better. And now we're ready to remove this from our loom. Gentle reminder just to be careful when you're removing this from your loom. If you have a bead hook or any sort of extra hook laying around, you can definitely use that to help you take this off so that way you don't break any rubber bands. Here's how my color combination turned out. I absolutely love how this looks, and now we'll add an extension so that way this will fit around our wrist. So taking my loom again, I'm going to make sure that I have this arrow at the bottom here pointing up that says the number 1, and I'm just going to use some of the same bands that I used for this border here. However, you can definitely use different colored bands if you'd like. For this bracelet that I previously made, I used 13 bands for the extension, so I'll be doing the same today. Taking one band at a time, I'll start at the bottom of my loom here, and we will make a zigzag going down our loom. If you'd like a more in-depth tutorial on how to make a single chain bracelet, I have a video linked in the description box below that you can watch for some more information. So I'm gonna make this 13 bands long. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so for reference, I have a pretty small adult wrist. If you have a small child's wrist, then you definitely want to make this a little bit shorter to make sure that the bracelet isn't too big on you. Once you have these bands here, I push them down to make some room for when I loom, and then I'll rotate this loom 180 degrees. At the bottom here, we now have this arrow pointing up that says the number 2, and onto whatever your bottom pin of this single chain is, we will transfer this already made bracelet onto there. So if your bottom pin is down here, go ahead and add the bracelet down here or up here, wherever that might be for you. To transfer this, I'm going to scoot this back down my hook. I'm going to use my left pointer finger and insert it into these 2 loops here so that way I have those 2 layers both on my hook and my finger. And then I will attach this and transfer it onto the bottom pin of my zigzag here. Now I'm going to pull this out of the way just a little bit so that way I can reach my hook in here and start looming. So grab the bottom layer here, loom it up to the next pin, and then we'll continue this down our loom. So once you've reached the end of your loom here, go ahead and grab your C-clip or G-clip to fasten your bracelet. I'm going to use this and scoop up the 2 layers that are here on this top center pin. Like that. Give it a little tug to make sure that you have both those layers here, and then I'm going to twist this, since I'm using a G-clip, to make sure that I have those 2 layers at the center of my G-clip like this. Now you can go ahead and remove this extension from the loom. Now taking my G-clip, I'm going to grab the 2 layers on the other side that are from my cap band. Should look like a little circle on the other end of your bracelet. And here is my finished Chantilly bracelet. Thanks so much for watching this tutorial on how to create the Chantilly bracelet. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as well as what color combination you chose to use on your bracelet. I and the Rainbow Loom team would love to see your social media posts of your Rainbow Loom creations, so be sure to tag us at this username and add the hashtag Rainbow Loom to your caption. The Rainbow Loom Bead Blast kit that I used in today's video can be found at the link in the description box below, as well as links to our social media sites. Again, thanks so much for watching this tutorial, and I can't wait to see you in our next one. Bye!